absolutely fine. So now it should pop up in here. Yes, perfect. Perfect. I'm going to click go live now.
Okay.
Just because it's working, so we're
yeah, gives everybody a chance to.
Yeah, exactly. Hi everybody.
What's going on, mate? But your video camera's not on, by the way. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No, because I stream so much in like the live trading rooms and all that. I think it's like the permissions or something. It just doesn't let me put on my my camera anymore.
Oh.
So you don't have to see my my ugly face today. It's especially ugly right now because I'm missing a tooth, which is fun.
Oh, that's a disappointment not to be able to see that.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to maybe if you're lucky, I'll take a picture of it and send it over to you. If you're lucky.
Well, send it over to everyone. It's not just fair to send it about that laugh.
No, because I fear the memes that will go out.
Yes, with some of the people in your group, for sure, there will be lots of. I'm sure there'll be memes anyway.
Yeah, this is what I mean. If we're going to be streaming literally to a group of, potentially thousands of people, like, I'm not going to do it. We'll give it a few minutes for people to join in as well.
It's
we posted the link.
Impromptu live, so we'll let you normally get a notification. So if you're in our groups, you'll probably just think, running off to the bathroom to watch, as some people do.
Exactly. Well, we've got some exciting stuff to go through today as well, haven't we, Andy?
We do, mate. We do. Something that has been something that's been on our list for a long time. Finally we got there, and I'm excited. Literally, first thing today is we've made this accessible, and I'll show everybody once everybody is online. But how have you been anyway? How's the kids?
Yeah, good, mate. Really good. Well, they've both been a bit poorly recently, but it's just classic case of getting all the illness out before Christmas. Evelyn, she's at the age now where she's really, really excited for Santa. She's like, whenever I go wake her up in the morning, I say, "Oh, hi, Effie, did you have a good sleep?" And she instantly goes, "Yes, Daddy. I dreamt about Santa." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I said to her this morning, I said, "Oh, what did you want from Santa? Did you want Santa to bring you any presents?" And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "What did you want?" And she goes, "Pizza." she wants pizza from Santa. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sweetheart, we can do that." Hey,
sounds just like you, mate.
Exactly. I'd have pizza for Christmas. Sounds great.
Beat dry turkey for sure.
Exactly.
Although I've got to tell you, I went to I think you know that I've been before, like I've told you about before. I went to the Grove. Not that
yes.
long ago. It's really nice, really nice food. It's basically like a very fancy buffet.
Yeah.
And there was turkey there because it was a Christmas theme. And honestly, it was one of the nicest turkeys I've ever eaten. It was like nicer than the beef and the lamb.
Right.
Wow, this is like so nice. And like I was wondering like what the hell they did to it to make it so nice. But my missus, who's a chef, she kind of pointed something out which I thought was quite interesting, which is they cooked it without the legs, because apparently that's the bit that takes the longest to cook. So if you take the legs off, you don't dry it out. So I was like,
whoa,
good idea.
Well, there you go. The more you know.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But it was so good, mate. I was quite surprised.
You'll have to take me on a cheeky date then.
Yeah, well, maybe it's quite expensive, mate. I don't know if you're worth that sort of money.
Oh, too right I am.
So there you go. Right.
We do actually have a few people in. We don't have the comments coming through on our streaming platform, but they are live on Facebook.
Oh,
So we've got, yeah, exactly. So we've got. Let me see if I can actually click on the thing. Bear with me 2 seconds. Here we are. Here we go. So we've got Slavomir was the first one to comment. Hi Slav. Hi Joanna. Hi Kevin as well. Hi Kevin.
the old
Chris,
crew.
what? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, nice. Good to see all of you here. Yeah, the old crew. They know what it's all about. They know that these lives will lead to raffle tickets, and they're joining on straight away to get their fill. And without a doubt, I'm pretty sure that they'll probably end up winning something on the 23rd, as they always do. Um,
Absolutely.
with that in mind, then Andy, did you want to make the announcement as to what we're doing, even though we've kind of teased it?
Absolutely. So finally, I'm very happy to say that we have our famous Fibonacci tools available on TradingView. And it's the first time you're seeing them, right, Dan? I think your words were this as soon as you saw it, you were like,
Well, it involved a bleep, a good bleep, something something along the lines of, "Wow, that's amazing," but
exactly.
framed in a different way.
The child. Let me show you guys. So what we're going to do this morning, we're just going to have a little chat and see what you guys are up to. Also, if you want me to take a little look at the markets we're on, it's a good time to do it. I'm just going to do, let me just quick screen share. And yeah, I'm not following on Facebook, Dan. Just let me know if anybody types a comment or lets me know if there's anything that they want us to specifically look at.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, I'm on top of it. I've got all the questions here.
So
Hi,
I'm
Bill.
show you this. Yeah, hold on. Who was that there? Phil?
Bill Wesley. Yeah.
Nice one, Bill. So here we are. Look. So this is basically it. It works absolutely amazingly. Even for me, it's really exciting to have this on here. No more having to do these things manually or copy them over from MT4. So this is what it looks like. This is the auto version. And then we have created a script as well. And I'll show you that one as well. So if you want to do like your sub fibs, it works really great as well. Or if you just want to look at specific sections, so I'll show you what it looks like. So
For those that don't know, Andy, what are these?
Yeah, we'll go through it. So if you're new to the Fibonacci, what they essentially do is they allow you to to measure the swings, to give you potential entry points, and to give you target points. So you can it goes with any kind of technical analysis. So the great thing about using the fibs in this way is that there's no subjectivity. It's always fixed. And, one of the things I always tell people, if you want to succeed at trading, you need to have consistency in what you do. So you don't want to randomly draw things. You want to be able to do things on repeat. And so by using these tools, your fibs will always be the same. So your retracement levels, your target levels, they're based on fixed rules. So that's basically the big advantage of them, and you can use it across multiple timeframes. So if I show you the manual ones, essentially you just pick the point. Now I'm just going to show you as an example of how you actually do it. So you'll go LTI manual fib, and then you'll see here it says select the begin, okay, where you want it to start. So once you select here, for example, like there, the next thing is you want it to go up or down. Okay, so you can adjust here the date and the time if you've not placed it correct. But I'm just going to hit down. I'm going to click apply. And you can see there, it's just plotted all of those sub-fibs like that. Now, I mean, this is not really relevant right now, but it was just to kind of show you that that example. And then you can just remove them like that.
These are basically exactly the same ones that we've got in MetaTrader 4, right?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. Works exactly the same. It's just, you know, you're not going to crash your MT4. And obviously, most of us prefer TradingView, and we're slowly trying to replicate everything over from MT4 into TradingView. This was a big one. As you know, we did have another version. It wasn't really working great. You know, when we did it at first, Pine was not as developed as it is now. So we've been able to do this. It's been quite a lot of work, but, you know, really, really happy with the result.
I mean, we're talking about at least 6 years for this to get released, because when I first started at London Trading Institute, all there has ever been, the most reliable ones were the MT4 versions, and we had the old ones in TradingView, and that you could tell obviously they weren't as good as the MT4 ones. And I think since then it's just been like a waiting game, waiting for TradingView to kind of catch up and make sure that the coding is all the what it needs to be to match up to MT4. And now that they're releasing so many more updates, it's now become possible to finally do it, and to do it well. And like I said, like when I first saw these, I literally put these on this morning, like right before the live, just to take a look at them, and I went, "Oh my god!" Like these look excellent. And I'm actually looking at them and I'm thinking, "Wow, these are actually clearer than the MT4 ones. I think they are formatted in a much better way as well."
Yeah, I think so too, to be honest. It makes the analysis much easier, much quicker, I found, already just using them. So I've been using them for about a week or so, just testing, found a couple of glitches, and finally they should all be good now. So we've started to give those who have access, and then like we said, we're definitely gonna throw one of these into the raffle, you know, for people to win.
Amazing.
So what we're going to do is let's have a little look at the markets. What were you looking at today, Dan? I actually haven't had a chance this morning because I've been working on a few things that I need to do. Any pairs or any currencies anyone wants to look at, or anything you're interested in?
Yeah, so I covered with our students today. We're looking at a euro dollar long opportunity, but I don't think it's going to be too long until we see a reversal come in. So it might be worth, you know, you can showcase maybe what you think your analysis could be on euro dollar. Plus, it's a pair that everybody likes to trade as well, and we can kind of take it from there.
Yeah, and just one more thing, actually, just come thinking of it now, like what's really cool is obviously, as you know, we build custom indexes on TradingView, so it's going to be great that we can actually plot the fibs on those indexes.
Yes.
So which is something we weren't able to do before automatically. So that's quite interesting. But
100%.
yeah, we can definitely take a little look at the euro, and then let me know if there's anything else that anyone's looking at.
Yeah, amazing stuff. If you guys comment on Facebook, just let us know, you know, what markets you're looking at, and then we can look at euro dollar first, and then if there's any others that you guys are interested in, we can maybe pick one more, and we can see kind of, you know, how the fibs can help us find those opportunities. That will be great. But it looks like we've got quite a few people in now, which is nice.
Great stuff. Okay, so what I'll do is one second. My lower time frame one's up as well. Yeah, I do.
I'll make the screen a lot bigger so everybody can see too.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So I'm just gonna do something here. Just give me a second.
Giving you a second.
Wow, plain. Yeah, so I'm just going to bring in. So I want to have a lower time frame one up as well, and then we can. Okay, that's silver, by the way. That is silver. So let's go back to US dollar. It's because my time frames are interchanged. Okay, so in terms of what we can see here, in terms of price action, I think although the fibs are relevant for the long run, I think right now we don't really want to consider, these kind of higher time frame fibs. The only thing that I'm interested in is to see. Sorry, mate, are you going to say something?
No, I was agreeing with you mainly.
Oh, okay.
I had a coaching session with one of our one-to-one students and said exactly the same line.
Oh, there you go. I must have listened to it and copied you, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what we can see is obviously it's relevant that we can gone back to the 38, but right now the focus has to be on this kind of section here, which is essentially a range. Right now that the price action is kind of interlocked here. So what we're looking for is, yes, reversal possible, but we've also got to take into account that right now we do have quite a bit of momentum up. And if you kind of compare it to all of this price action before, this here is quite strong momentum right now. So we can definitely look at possible long trades, but we just got to be a little bit careful about where we are. Is probably the best way to put it. Like if I kind of look here, you can see we obviously had this is when it was trending, and from this point here is where we go sideways. From this point here, we haven't really had any kind of momentum. If you look at this kind of price action here, not very strong at all, right? Rejection bars. This is the first point here. We get this kind of dark cloud cover candlestick formation, and then we have followed through with strong buying. So I think, look, for as a momentum short-term trade, yeah, absolutely, I'd agree with you that there could be a potential long if we can get a good price. If not, then we can look for some kind of reversal as well. Let's take a little look at the lower time frames. I think that would be useful as well. What I need to make sure is I've got the fibs on. Yep. So I'm just going to bring in the lower time frames. So this is just a daily chart. This is what it looks like. It does look strong right now. I mean, that price action looks good. Let's see where we are in terms of the lower time frame. So we'll go 4-hour time frame as well. So you've got your D's up there at the moment. What I would definitely be inclined to do, because we're in a range, because if you think about it, guys, that this D is really a trend continuation D. We need the trend to continue for us to ever get anywhere close to that. So one of the things, and this is where the sub fibs can be very useful, is that you can clearly see that the market is creating swings here. So I would definitely consider looking at what the sub fibs are doing, especially if we're looking for short opportunities. The other thing that I would definitely look at is matching that up with something really simple, like, when we look up here, you can clearly see that is a really nice supply zone in this box. So you can see really strong selling followed by really strong selling, breaking structure. And the way that I judge a supply zone is, from this point, we took out a lot of support. We had a significant drop. So if we were to go lower, if this was not to go higher, I would say that this area here represents an area where some more selling could come into the market. So that's an area that I would look at as either a target or an area where we could potentially look for a reversal. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you how we can use the sub fibs. I'm just going to reload it because I haven't quite worked out if we can just put it on when it's there. So I'm just going to do it like this. So we're going to go LTI manual auto fib. We're going to select, I'm just going to select this low point here. We're going to select up. We're going to hit apply. And we're going to get an idea of where we are within the cycle. So right now, what do I see? Immediately, and this is the great thing about having this kind of tool, it gives us immediate information that you wouldn't ordinarily have. So I'm just going to move this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make this transparent, I think, a bit more for now. Hold on. Yeah, so I just want to show you there. This here is a 200 Fibonacci extension from this fib. And then here we have a 1272 right here of the sub fib. So this is called a 1272 fade. And just to explain for those that are not familiar with the fibs, I know most of you are. Essentially, it's when the market goes from an A to a B, it fails to go back to this first red retracement, which is the 38.2. It goes strong into, let's say, this zone here. This is called a 1272 fade, and just a little bit higher is the 144 fade. So this area here for me is an interesting area, and it's within our box that we identified using just the supply zone. Everybody makes sense? Does that make sense to some of you so far? I don't.
Yeah, I think people are following along.
Okay.
We haven't had any questions, so to speak, at the moment. A couple of markets that you want to look at after this one.
Okay. So I really like this zone, and guess what? It's your favorite, Dan. It's a round number, 118. So it's literally at the bigger number, 118. So I think that this area here is definitely an area that I believe we should be considering targets for those that are long, and then potential shorts. Now, when we look at things like potential shorts or longs or whatever, you know, everyone will play these things differently. So for some people who say to me, you know, I don't have time to be in front of the screens, you can't use things like that Dan uses, like the market timing indicator, for example, or, you know, or the general sort of free tools like the RSI or the stochastic, or things like trend line breaks, where you get that confirmation. And the reason why you can't do that is because you literally have to be on your screens. You know, otherwise, how would you know that those things are basically in place? So if you're not available, your trading plan should be, let me find a zone where I think the market will stop. Okay, so this is really important. Let me find a place where I think the market will stop and won't go above X level to stop me out, and then go to where I think it's going to go. And you have to make that decision. You know, where is that point? Where is your trade invalid? So, for example, and by the way, you don't have to type it, but think about it as I'm telling you. For example, if you were to enter here, well, for those that are familiar with, you know, supply zones, you can see the supply is from this point here. The 144 is from this point here. So I would say if you're as a maximum stop, you'd be going somewhere there. Okay, that is a maximum stop. Okay, that is for the very conservative people. who really don't want to be stopped out very frequently if they're right. But obviously, if you go for that as your stop, and you have a rule, for example, that says, well, I need to make at least 2 times my risk. Well, 2 times your risk, well, that is probably approximately 1. And then you need another one of these, 2, to basically hit that 2 to 1, which is going to be roughly down here. And that's quite a tall ask. Now, think about this, okay? Right now, when we look at the weekly time frame, okay, we see a range, okay? So remember that background, we see a range. However, what we also see is very strong momentum up. So when you go against that trend right now, which is up, and you ask for a really quite a significant move down for you to hit your target, the probability of you hitting your target ends up being quite small. Does that make sense to everybody? On this one, please type yes if it does, because it's important to understand. So you have to really think about the context. And I know, Dan, you speak about this a lot as well. Context is so important to what you do.
100%. I think this is probably the main part where I see traders kind of stumble over, because they I think it's really easy to kind of have a process, have a strategy, and go, I'm going to enter here, I'm going to put my stop here and my target here. I followed all of my rules, therefore I'm right. But what they don't consider is the type of market they're trading, or in some circumstances, actually how far away their target profit or their stop loss is, in order for them to make money. That I think a good rule of thumb is, the longer you're in something for, actually the more at risk you are of it going in a different direction a lot of the time. And when you're trading like a choppy market, you are basically trading like a whipsaw. So you want to kind of be in and out relatively quickly. Otherwise, you're just going to get chopped up. So hopefully that makes sense to people, and people can kind of take that away as like a little bit of additional value. But yeah, it's something that people do need to kind of develop that as a trading muscle, so to speak.
Yeah, and the thing is that sometimes one of the common things that people I see do is they might have this rule and it makes sense, it's logical, say, hey, I want a 2 to 1 at least on my trades, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think actually for a beginner, it's great to have more reward than the risk that you're taking. Like I know pro traders that have less than 1 to 1, and they make a lot of money. But the thing is, as a beginner, if you can, you can aim for a 40-50% win ratio, and you're getting 1.5, 2 to 1, 2.5 to 1, you're going to do very, very well. You don't have to win so frequently then. So I think it's a good rule. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to adjust the important metrics that, like, where your stop should go is where your stop should go that makes sense for the trade. You shouldn't be like, hey, I'm going to go with a tight stop just because I need to make my metrics work. Because then you're not thinking about the market, you're just thinking about your pocket, and that's not going to work. Now, I know, like, for people that have a bit more time, and I know that this is something that Dan is really big on, is, if you can time the market better, so wait for this to enter your zone, like here, and then wait for those turnings, using tools and price action, whatever, and then you can get in with a tighter stop. If you think of it like this, if it goes here and it turns, and you're like, okay, it's now doing what I thought it was going to do, and your stop is there, think of it like this. Dan only needs it to go to there for him to get 2 to 1, whereas you need it to go all the way down there for the same exact reward. Now, I get that for most people that's not going to be possible, but what you could do is you could adjust your entry, and you could say, look, I might have to go a little bit higher on my entry, in order to get that target, get that 2-to-1 that I need. So I might miss the trade, but if I can get it in here, for example, it makes it a little bit, the distance has to be less. Maybe we could just take it down to there, for example. And that's going to be a lot easier to achieve than all the way back to there. So these are the little things that you have to play around with, and those tweaks make all the difference, in my opinion. What are some of the other pairs that people are looking at?
I think there's always a interest in gold. However, the first one that we got was USD CAD. If you can do USD CAD.
Let's have a little look at USD CAD. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we'll just take a quick little look as an overall, what it's doing, and then we can kind of assess it a little bit more. So again, repeating the same thing as before, these kind of Ds up here don't really matter at this stage, on the weekly time frame. Okay, so we'll just do a little bit of basic analysis, I think, just to kind of get a bit of an idea of what's happening on this pair. It looks like, quite sort of tight channel type price action. We've got strong momentum down. That's pretty much dollar weakness, similar sort of thing that you're seeing on the euro. So right now, you have to say that trading this short looks higher probability than trading it long, just at first glance. Doesn't mean it's going to go down in a straight line, but it's kind of hit the top end of this channel. There's strong selling bars, 1, 2, 3 weekly strong selling bars. So you would argue that any kind of pullbacks would be potential selling opportunities just on the surface. I mean, we can just, there's a bit of, let's see if there's anything. There's a bit of a support level there, bit of old resistance there, but we're kind of almost through that. So yeah, not really too much going on there in terms of support. So what I'll do now is I'll just bring in, let's just have a quick look at the daily as well. I think it's worth doing that. See if there's anything really here that, we've got a Friday indecision bar right now, so it's just kind of making that. So this area here, look, you can't argue against this area being a support area. That would be my main concern about selling anywhere around here. Let me see. Yeah, it's a decent zone, isn't it? What do you think?
We've also got a question on the indicator that you're using here, Andy, the red and the green indicator.
This one is just a 50 moving average, which changes color when you with the angle slope. You can find it for free on TradingView by Just Uncle. It's called a colored EMA. So,
okay. Do you want to just for the sake of them? Did you want to just like click on it and just show them like the title of it or something?
Yeah, CLRDMA, and it's by Just Uncle. So you can just literally, all you need to do is just put EMA 50, and then ignore all of the rest of it. You don't really need.
Perfect. There you go.
So that is the daily. I don't feel like I've got a strong edge on this one. Whoever mentioned this one, do they have? You've got the argument of downward pressure, but you've got a lot going on here of support. I wouldn't necessarily. I think like if we were going to make a plan, I think if we were going to go on the short side, personally, I think we should be clear of this area, because there's a lot of interest here. You can see just recent look, lots and lots and lots of interest. Yes, you could argue, do you want to buy that? Possibly. But you are going against that sort of weekly momentum down. I kind of have a conflict on this one, so much so that I don't think I would necessarily take a position right now.
What are the fibs saying?
Yeah, we'll have a look at the 4-hour fibs. I think that's, and the hourly fibs going down. Let's have a look at that and see if there's anything. So I need to change the direction of let's delete. Yeah, this one. We'll change it to down. Click OK. So the next fib is all the way down there, not relevant. We can definitely put in the manual ones. Let's do that. And just take a little look at the sub fibs just from these lows here. Let's do LTR. Okay, select our point, select down, and then just click apply. We are actually in a fade. So I actually think that the buy side is stronger than the sell side. Right now, there is momentum down. But, I mean, look, you've got a 144 fade there. You've got a lot of support. I think for a low, I mean, it may break it, but it has held very well here. So, I mean, I think it's just not enough room personally to take a short. So I would favor the long side. The only other thing I could add on here is the daily trading range, which we could take a little look at as well and see what that comes in as. So the daily trading range is there. It's not bad, 137.36. So again, I think it's important that we explain things. Don't just assume that people know. Daily trading range is a custom London Trading Institute indicator that was built to predict the low and high point of the day. So it's only valid for today. As you can see, if you have a little look, what you want to see is, does this market hold within the daily trading range? If you see that, hey, we're going through it quite a bit and you want to kind of get in at a better entry, you can see here that is the case. And by the way, why does that happen? Really important to understand. And you'll actually understand it even more when you think about the weekly chart. Is the way it works is it's using past data to predict future data. And if you look at the weekly timeframes recently, they've been very strong to the downside, which basically means that's why we are going through and doing a bigger value than the daily trading range. So what I normally do with that in mind is I would just increase the multiple a little bit and fit it a bit to the market of what we're currently doing. So if we did a 1.4, that is not too bad. I mean, apart from this really strong price action, but that is not normal everyday price action. Okay. I'm not even sure if that was to do with the Fed. No, was that fifth? No, it wasn't. But you can see that this is much better, much more aligned, and that brings you down to about 137.20. So that's not bad. Again, I think personally, with the way that things are, I would prefer to do this with confirmation. So if we get into this zone here, I would want to see some kind of confirmation, whatever that confirmation is, before taking any kind of long positions. I'd want to see some, it's going to be a trend line break, some divergence on an indicator, something that makes me think, yeah, it's time to get in, stop there, go for a small sort of move up. I wouldn't feel confident right now to stick a limit order into this one. I think I'd rather wait, mostly because the weekly is very strong down. I'm not sure if you have a different view, Dan.
No, not really. You already know I much prefer kind of waiting for that additional confirmation. For me, what interests me about it is how we're moving right now. We can see that we've kind of hit this level of interest, and we're now consolidating, and
Yeah,
that to me looks like potentially institutions are accumulating in this area. And what we usually see is the market to spike down below that consolidation for us to then start to reverse, which makes more sense to me. So before I'd think about an entry, I'd want to see the market spike down lower
yeah,
and relatively aggressively as well. And then for us to see the kind of those buyers step back in quite aggressively. So we want to see a spike down and then quite a big spike up, and then that should be your confirmation to go right. Okay, this looks now like it's reversing.
yeah,
And again, it comes down to it when you're looking at the markets. This applies to everybody. These aren't just red and green random colors and patterns popping up on your screen. They're not just imagination. They are volume. They are buyers and sellers. They're everyday people. They're institutions that are pressing buy and sell right before your eyes. And the way that the markets move is through buyers and sellers. If you understand how the markets move via liquidity, institutions, banks, you can get a much better idea as to what's likely going to happen next. And to me, this looks like a level of accumulation. And I'd be interested maybe for some buy opportunities, probably down towards that 144 area, where kind of your daily trading range is. That
yeah,
144 area on the fib looks really nice.
yeah. And you can see this is. I mean, this is a great liquidity zone as well. So you never know, they could even spike it below these levels. But I mean, when you look here, it didn't. It just held at this level. So could repeat, even if it's a short term idea. And what I like about waiting and seeing is, you can see here you've got big bars, and these are 4-hour bars. I mean, if you did this after work, you're only getting 2 4-hour bars if you're working off a 4-hour time frame. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you are working off if you're in front of your chart when the market goes into these areas, and you can go to a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute chart or something like that, obviously you can see institutional bars on those time frames, and
Yeah,
it just allows you to get in a bit quicker, a bit earlier. But if you don't have that option, then it's not impossible to wait for confirmation but you're working off these kind of higher time frames, and you're going to have to hold stuff for a little bit longer. But personally, Dan, I mean, for these types of trades, because the weekly is strong down, I would rather go for a short-term move if I'm going to take a long trade. So I personally
yeah,
wouldn't do it off these kind of bigger time frames for something like this. You're better to go with the trend. So if it does go up, I would rather be looking, for this up move where we're then looking to take a short with the trend. I think
yeah.
that is safer play for those that are not in front of their screens.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it fits in with everything that we're kind of seeing on the dollar at the moment as well. Anyway, it looks like dollar weakness is going to be coming into play long term. And we're seeing big up moves on euro dollar, pound dollar. We're seeing big down moves on USD CAD and so on and so forth. So, and then obviously gold is going up. It's nearly hitting all time highs again.
Yeah, we'll look
You
at
know,
this one today, last one. Tomorrow, I mean, we're gonna jump on again. We can also look at some other things like Bitcoin and silver and other things that people are interested in. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has been great. I mean, I've been trading it. I wasn't. It's not one of my kind of go-tos. Hasn't been in the past, but I mean, if you're doing trend trading, it's really, really great. I mean, so is silver, to be honest. It's one of the things I've added to my list now to trade, because they're great. Like they are very liquid. You can still trade them on prop accounts with quite great, very good spreads, not that expensive compared to FX. So, I think they're great, especially for those that want to trade with the trend. So
Yeah.
looking at this, I mean, obviously, and by the way, when you asked about the fibs and how they're useful, I think this is a great example, because right now we're at all-time highs. And when you look and you think, well, what can I target if you're a swing trader? Well, straight away you can see you've got a D target right there on the weekly chart, which is just over 5,000. So you can use the extensions as your target zones. But with something like this, look, it's quite parabolic right now, and you might say, well, maybe that's not sustainable. But short term, you can absolutely trade this. Should we have a little look and see what's going on with the lower time frames as well? So let's clean this up. I'm just going to not remove all that. Remove drawings. I'm going to change this to a daily for a second. We're going to change the fib down to fib up. You can't, by the way, the other thing you could do is just put 2 of these on there. Then you just have them on all the time if you want. And we can have a little look and see what's going on here. So this is the daily. Again, really nice price action, higher highs, higher lows. Looks very solid trend. Great, really solid. Let's see what the 4 hours is saying. I don't really want the daily trading range on there. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so just reached the D. Be nice if we can get a pullback here. Also, where at these high points, it'd be quite dangerous to go long here. Definitely, these are liquidity zones. Anything above those highs. So, I mean, I think any kind of pullback into at least the 38.2 looks great to me. What's that? 4218. You going to say something, Dan?
No, nothing. No.
That's interesting. They've got the down fibs. So we've got the down sub fib that we had in before. I believe A, B, deep pullback takes you down to here 4257. Yeah, 50. Yeah, on the 1 hour, nice level as well. I mean, that was a very strong selling bar. It would be, if we can kind of go down to there, I think that would be a really nice potential long. Yeah, good level. At least a short-term bounce anyway. Looks good without spending too much time on this. I think that's a decent level to look at. Probably a bit of some support there as well. Yeah, whether this is a low point where we go to here, we need to do a bit more work on that. But I mean, certainly an area where you could definitely get a bounce at the very minimum, and often that's what you need as a trader. That's the advantage of trading rather than investing. So yeah, that looks good. But any pullbacks now within that sort of A/B cycle. So for the 1 hour time frame, anything from here, any pullback into this zone is a buying opportunity. And what's the lowest point here on the A? The A is 4154. If we went to the 4 hour time frame, what does it look like? What's the A point? A little bit lower, 3996. So yeah, essentially this is your kind of line in the sand, 4,000. As it stands, as long as we're above 4,000, you buy it, and you could target these areas up here. You won't go too far wrong from having a positive outcome if you're buying. If you're going against the trend, on this type of movement, it's much harder to make money. And I think we should wrap up there, unless anything else anyone wants to ask, and we'll jump on again for the rest of the week.
No, I think that's everything. The most important thing as well is we are expecting to be going live throughout all of this week. We are holding a raffle on the 23rd. Was it, Andy? 23rd of December?
Monday the 23rd, yeah.
Monday the 23rd, 12 o'clock, we're holding a live raffle. We always keep it really lighthearted, really festive. It's basically our way to kind of give back to you guys. We're raffling off quite a few different prizes this time. We do it year in, year out, but there's some really, really exciting ones this year. For every live that you guys attend throughout the week, we just want you to comment raffle. If you put in the Facebook comments now the word raffle, we will give you a ticket to is it Tuesday the 23rd, not Monday? Oh, Monday 22nd. We'll do 22nd then. Yeah. Monday 22nd. Yeah. Monday 22nd. But if you guys comment raffle, we'll put your name down to be entered into the raffle for Monday the 22nd. Every time you put your name or put raffle in each of the lives, we will give you an additional ticket. So essentially you can have multiple entries, which just increases your likelihood of getting a prize on next Monday. On top of that as well, guys, in order to claim your prize, you have to turn up to the live event on the 22nd. But the more tickets you rack up, the more chance you have of winning something really cool. And obviously you get to engage with us all week. Yay! you get to see Andy's ugly mug and potentially my beautiful face if my camera decides to work. So yes, guys, throughout the week, just engage, put your name down for the raffle. We'll be releasing details throughout the week, so keep an eye on your email, and we'll be going live, like I said, in the Facebook group. And yeah, really excited for the Christmas countdown and see what you guys can win.
Fantastic. So we'll be back again tomorrow at 12, I believe.
Yeah, should be. Yeah, so 12 o'clock. We should be live. We should be live again. We'll send out some more notifications sooner than a couple of minutes before. But throughout this week, we'll drop an email over to you guys. We'll send some messages out so you can join in promptu time. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate all of your time. We will see you tomorrow, and we will come back with some more content.
Have a good one, everybody. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.